Great, so now we will work on wiring the contact us form so we can store the response inside our database and we can send an email at the same time. And doing so is very easy. The first thing to do is with any form inside Laravel, we have to have the Csrf token, which is going to help us and protect us from cross-site requests forgery. So this is very important. You can do it using the blade directive, or you can simply use it as a hidden input. In my case, I will stick with the blade directive. Now we have to wire any form with an action, right? So let's imagine that we have such a route, which is form responses.store. For now, I don't have it, so let me just head back to my routes. Here we can simply uncomment this one and we can do it like so. So I'm going to name it form responses.store. I'm going to make it form-responses and it's a post, and we can write it with the same controller, and then we can have such an action called form responses store. So it's not there yet. Let me just go ahead immediately and create it. As a start, maybe we can just then dump the request itself. So eliminate HTTP request, and we can just go ahead and then dump it. Now we can see at least are the form fields that we are sending. I will head back to my form, refresh it, fill it with the dummy data. So now, as you can see, we are sending the form inputs with the token. We will exclude this one in a second, but for now, let's just concentrate about doing validation for this input so we can make sure we are not sending, for example, an empty email without a name, or trying to send an email in an empty email value. And to do so, we can just do a simple validation on this. So I will just simply create an array of rules with the required inputs, and we can do a validation on them. If it fails, it will redirect back with the inputs and with the errors. If this one is fine, then simply we can proceed by simply storing inside the database and then sending the email. So we will do that in a bit, but for now we don't have a migration or a model for our form responses. So I will go ahead and create one immediately. So here I am in my folder. I'm going to make a new model called form responses with migration. Let's go ahead and fill this migration file. We would like to have the name, email, subject as nullable, and then the message itself. And if we to get back to our controller, we are going to store it in the database like so. So a form response is going to make a form response, and then we can use the create or the mass assignment on it. And we would like to send the request, all of them except one field, which is, the underscore token. So we can exclude only that input. We can't do any mass assignment, as you know for a fact, unless you have the fillable array defined. So I will go ahead right now and define it. Now with this defined, we can test it after we migrate that form responses table. But for now, let me just try and dump maybe the ID of it, and we can go ahead here and test the migration. We have it as pending, so now we can migrate it. Since we have the table, we can refresh it again, and we should have the ID of the form response. To confirm that, we can see it inside our database, and here we have it. And believe it or not, right now we are halfway through. So let's do the exciting things. Let's send an email. So I will use the email facade, and we can send it to, I'm gonna write the to in a second. We would like to send a new email, which is called contact form, which we don't have right now. And I'm planning to send the whole form response model so I can use it. So let's create this baby. So I'm going to go to make, and this time mail, and we're gonna call it contact form. Now, since it's accepting this param, let's go ahead and import it, and then we can go ahead and define it here. So I'm going to type it as a public inline attribute, which is form responses model, and then form responses. And now I have it, so I can use it inside my views, inside the email itself, which we will see in a bit. Now, when it comes to the envelope, we have to define the subject, and we can define as well the from. So in my case, I would like to make the from as a new address, which is again the email mailable address. And this one accepts two parameters. If we take a look at it, it accepts two things. It accepts the address itself, and it accepts the name of the person who's sending the email. So we can have an email here and then the name. If we to just for a second check the configuration that which comes with Laravel, so inside the configuration and then mail, as you can see here, inside it we have something called from, and it contains actually an address and then a name. In this case, we can simply use those two things, and they are already an array, so perhaps we can take them and we can use the spread or ellipsis operator. So imagine with me, we are going to here have two values, so I'm going to do them so we can after that use it. I'm going to use the config, and we are going to use the address and from. But if we can take a look at the from itself, it already contains those two values, so we can simply use only one, and then I can use the ellipsis or the spread operator like so. so I can have them as 2 arguments to that address. Now this one should be from, I'm sorry. And here we are ready to fill the content. So we would like to have this one just to ease things as a markdown, perhaps not as a blade in views. And the file we could name it as emails, then contact. Since I don't have this view, let me just create it immediately and I will fill it in a second. For the attachments, we are not going to use any attachments, so we are good to go like this. I will just paste the content here. So we are using the component message, and then this should be actually aligned to the left without any indent. If we do have any indent on it, unfortunately, it will not work. I mean, the markdown won't work, so your email would be cut off from this section. So just make sure you don't have any spaces to the left. And now we should just be able to test it. And as you can see, nothing fancy here. We are just displaying the name, email, subject, and message itself, and then we are ending our email. Now this is good, but how our email is going to look like? So in order to do so, we have to test it, and we can easily just create a route to test.
So I'll go back to my route, and I'll just create a route called
maybe test mail, and then it will be an anonymous function. And we can here have form response from form response as the first value, and then we can immediately just return our email. So I will return a new contact us form, and it accepts the form response itself. Now we will open this route and it should display our email. So I will open it right now. And indeed, it looks very nice and it looks very good. Let me just zoom out a bit. It looks very good. So it looks like the default Laravel email. So I'm going to show you guys how you can tweak the look and feel of the email, but you can go ahead and change it the way you want. I'm just going to make a slight change to it. And in order to do so, we have to publish the email views. So in order to do it, we can just simply go ahead and write PHP artisan and then vendor publish. And you can pass, if you wish, any provider or any tag you wish. But in my case, let me just for a second say that I forgot what's called. So we can simply go ahead here and search for something specific. So maybe we can go with Laravel mail, which is this one. We can just simply publish it. And what this one does, it will publish it to our views. So let's head back to our views. And indeed, this folder has been created for us right now. And this one contains everything that we wish. So in my case, I'm using the HTML version, and the theme it's called right now default.css. And with this, we have 2 options. You can simply create a whole new file with the things that you want, let's say new theme, and then you can make your changes to it. But please remember, if you to do so, then you have to get back to the configuration and then the mail itself, and then you have to define the new theme here. But in my case, I will stick with the default one, and I can simply just make my changes to this one default theme. So let me show you guys what I made as a change. So nothing fancy, I changed just small things like the colors of the body, the color of the wrapper, the footer links, and the background of the wrapper itself. So let me just show it to you how it looks like. So if we to just simply refresh it, so this is how it looks like. Again, you can imagine the thing that you want and you can just change it the way you like. And with this, we tested how it looks like. One final thing to do right now is simply to test if we are going to receive an email or not. And doing so is very easy. So first, I would like to get back to my controller, and I would like to just properly send it to the again config and then the mail from, so we can take advantage of it since we have it already. And we can just send a message back to the user telling them that we have received their request and we will get back to them. And we can easily do so by sending simply a message to the view while we are returning back with 2 keys, title and subtitle. So we can display these easily in the view. So I will go to the contact us view, and here we are going to wrap our form with an if statement. So if we have this message, then we are going to display it. Otherwise, we are going to have the form. So let me just end the if statement here. And as a condition, we can just simply have if the session has a message, then we received something, so we can display it properly. And believe it or not, now we should be able to send an email and everything's perfect. However, I would like to make sure that my configuration is properly set using the mailpit. It will be a good start simply to open the mailpit as an app, and then we can open it. And now I can get back to my form so we can test it. So I will go to my homepage, navigate to contact us, and then I will be using a dummy data, and I will send the email. Now it says that successfully sent. Let's check our database. We have one more line, and we can check right now our email. And indeed, we just received a new email from our website. I'm really excited, and we covered multiple aspects in this video, so thank you for following up with me. And in the next video, we are going to talk about tags, how to implement them, how to do it as a database structure, and how to associate it with our recipes.